Welcome to the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. This is your podcast for all things hockey. On this podcast, we talk about past history to the modern day and what you can do to grow the sport. I am your host, Adam Rothstein. All right, let's get to the show. It is Thursday, November 6th, and last night against the St. Louis Blues, Alex Ovechkin did it. He hit his 900th goal. It was his third goal on the season, and the one odd thing about this goal is that Jordan Binnington tried to run off with it, supposedly, but the referee got it. It's in Alex's hands now, and the puck was never stolen. So it was kind of weird what he was trying to do at this point. I don't know if he was like thinking, oh, I'm going to hold on to this for Ovechkin. Probably not, or I'm going to sell this. But this is coming from Jordan Binnington. He would not, I don't see the incentive for him to actually steal this. So that kind of was weird, the way he put it in his pants and all these rumors. And I'm certainly not, and not, I'm not certain as to what he was thinking in his mind or if he was just frustrated. I genuinely think he was frustrated. Like, why did I have to be the one to give up his 900th goal to be the goalie that he scores his 900th on? And I was in the Four Nations tournament, or I was in the the Four Nations tournament last year, or earlier in the year, or last season rather. So it's like, oh geez, and I'm the Canadian, and I could be in the Olympics too in 26. So it's like, like I have to be that guy. I get it. Absolutely. Like no one wanted, Sorokin didn't want to be, the goalie where he was, gave up all of that too. And, gave up the game-winning goal record. And it took, and my friend, one of my teammates from high school, got, got to see that. Just thought I'd mention that. All right, let's talk about the so just a little side note on the scores. Maple Leafs secure the win 5-3 at home. Toronto is doing well. They are in playoff position at this point. As you know, I did Toronto sports therapy on the last episode, and so you're getting your therapy, you're getting what this good relief right here with the Maple Leafs doing well. Can't say much about the Raptors, but you're getting a lot of support here with the Maple Leafs. So just keep supporting your team. You'll get there, Toronto sports fans. You will get there. Trust me. I have confidence in you. 6-1 was the big one in DC. I knew he was going to get, Alex Ovechkin was going to get it eventually, and only problem is I just chose the wrong game to go to. They win this one handily. Wilson opened the scoring, then Ovechkin got it, and it was a backhander like Wayne Gretzky used to shoot and pass in the same way back, and he shot it. Then Anthony Bellivier gets his second of the season. John Carlson gets his third of the season, and Bellivier hits it with the third, and then shorthanded goal. And I think that is just a little bit of an indication as to why the Capitals need a better penalty to get his 8th of the year. So good on Tom Wilson. You go, Tom Wilson. You're doing well out there. In Calgary, we'll call it the Johnny. Well, no, Johnny Gaudreau is not alive anymore, but the teams of the Johnny Gaudreau, never mind. Now Calgary wins this 5-1. Morgan Frost is looking great as usual. Blake Coleman, I am beginning to like up there, and it's a shame that he's not down in LA, New York. Schenko doing well in the shorthanded, and that was all you got out of the Blue Jackets. So apparently, even when you score a shorthanded goal, you could still lose by 4 or 5 goals. Getting his fourth in the game. Then you have Adam Klapka getting his second, and Mikael Backlund getting an empty netter to secure this 3 goals behind. Don't know why the Blue Jackets did that, and certainly on the road can't explain why. Vancouver lost at home 5-2 to the Seattle Kraken. Macklin Celebrini gets his 8th goal of the year. And then there was a tie for a little bit. Ryan Winterton gets it, and then Ethan Cardwell gets his first goal of the year. Smith and Celebrini, and it seems like the Sharks are beginning to handle themselves better, and I hope they can get. And if they get into the playoffs this year, in quite some time, personally, well, Smith gets his 5th goal. Ty Delandre gets a shorthanded goal, and that's his first of the year. Tyler Toffoli gets his 5th goal of the season. Great work on the Sharks, and certainly on the road and getting this done in regulation. And you went into Seattle and you just hammered them. You found your fire and it was there. Statement more on Ovechkin. I think that it was one of the it's just a great feeling, and when you actually are watching the channel and the Craig Laughlin, and hearing Craig Laughlin and Joe Beninati. And actually, I got to talk to them when I was doing the college tour days, and before I went to Towson, and it was a great experience overall. But it's good. It was good to hear their voices, and there's Joe Beninati, and it was so that was good. More on the goal. From what I saw, he wasn't in the right mindset, is what I mean. He sort of was like just playing so casual, like he didn't want this, like he almost wasn't trying to win. And I think he's playing that puck behind the trapezoid and essentially letting it get to Ovi in the first place, and then Ovechkin doing it, scoring it just like Wayne Gretzky back in the 1980s. It wasn't, and I think what's also important to notice is that it wasn't, it wasn't a standard deking him out of his feet, or anything like that, or even just a hard wrist shot from, like the point or something. But this was going to take it. There's that. He will absolutely take it, but I don't think I don't think Binnington wanted to, to give it up. Like a showdown. He would want a battle to get it, and then if he gave it his all and he just couldn't save it with or something, he'd be like, "Okay, you got it, Alex. It's there. It's over. Thank you very much for your service to the NHL. Oh, it's puck." And he and he's got to be the goalie now to do that. Back in the it was like late 80s, early 90s, maybe probably early 90s. Nolan Ryan struck out Ricky Henderson for his 5,000th strikeout. We've never ever again. And I think that we're going to see something we're not going to see anyone, at least in this lifetime. Hughes has enough in him to do it. I don't think we're going to see a near 70-goal season again from him. He'll get 50s. He might get 55, but I don't think Matthews will get enough goals in a short enough time span, or in that certain amount of time span. And McDavid is too focused on getting assists. I don't think we're going to see another 900 goal scorer in this. Just in baseball, like you're not going to see another 5,000 strikeout pitcher. It's really that simple. In fact, I don't even think you're going to see. So it's just that. Alex Ovechkin, if he did want to retire, I think it would just be okay at this point if he wanted to retire. And I do want to see him do again. And it's to be Sidney Crosby one last time, just get through to him. And I don't even care if the Caps win. I want to see Alex Ovechkin beat Sidney Crosby in another series, because it was so good back in the day in 2008, 2000. through him. And 2016 and 2017, they had to, again, they can't get past the Penguins. And the Penguins go on and win two Stanley Cups in 2016 and 2017, and then they win the Cup. I just want to see how Ovechkin get past Sidney Crosby. But at this point, it doesn't. It seems like the juice in Pittsburgh is back. Crosby and everyone, and Yari is stepping up in ways that Fleury never did. And Yari is the one that actually has a goalie goal, and Fleury doesn't, sort of thing. So I think that we is between Pittsburgh and the Capitals. Again, I'd have to take Pittsburgh, unfortunately, and it's a shame that I don't think the Capitals would be, but I don't think they would be able to muster it out. And 2009 was probably a heartbreaker for me because they were at them, and Sidney Crosby scored 4 goals, Alex got 3, and the rest, as they say, is history. So there's that. Looking back on lockout, the 04-05 lockout, that certainly impeded on Ovechkin's potential. Could have gotten another 60 goals this season, and 2013 was shortened as well. So all these games, he probably could have gotten it. Like I think he missed out on like 200, but he could have certainly been sitting at 1,000 goals. And then let's say you score once every 2 games on average, could have had 1,000 goals. Could have, and now also the lockout probably would have helped Olaf Kolzig, and could have made a better case for him Mattingly line, at least in hockey, and he just never got in. But Ovechkin is going to get in unanimously. He's not going to. We're not going to have dragged at this point. He, unless I mean, he has done so well on and off the ice. He has certainly stated before. I think that there could have been a moment in his career where we don't even see him break Wayne Gretzky's record. But I don't think he's the points record. I don't think anyone's going to touch Gretzky's points record. McDavid could, but he would really need to be like putting up quite some time. So I don't think he's going to get there at this point. And like 2,800 points, get out of here. I don't think McDavid so much, and we're in a totally different era. And the dead puck era was part of Gretzky's career too. So that certainly didn't help. This is probably gonna be his last season, and I think, and I'd hang it up at this point whether I want a Stanley Cup. It just simply was. They won the Stanley Cup, even though it was against an expansion team, and I will keep telling you that one team, and you should have brought in 2 at that point. And the Capitals probably also don't win the Stanley Cup at that point, but it still just didn't feel right. I think that the Penguins could have actually won a 3rd Stanley Cup in a row. I'm not joking. This is coming from out of the Capitals fans' mouth, but I think that expanded, even though it benefited my team. It just never made sense to have 31 NHL teams at one point. It wasn't a prime number. It was divisible by 3, or it was divisible by, and could get you a whole number at the end. 2, and you get 16 in the East, 6 teams in the West, sort of thing. So I guess, he's grateful for it. It's the hardest trophy got through Matt Murray and the Penguins. They went on and just did it. They just won, and they could have faced the Winnipeg Jets too. And I think if they had beat, maybe the Winnipeg Jets could have won. Who knows though? But I guess we'll never know in any sense. This is this, and honestly, you don't even need to even break a record to be a Hall of Famer. Pat Maroon is probably not going to be breaking, right? He's got a cup with with the Blues and the Lightning and all these teams. You can look at him. You could look at Zach Hyman, but again, he plays with Draisaitl and McDavid. He could get in. Wilson could get in. Carlson could get in. Backstrom is not going to get in. I think if he played a little longer, he probably would have gotten in, but who knows at this point. Patrick Kane could get in. If you have, also Crosby and Ovechkin are the only 2 that are are loyalists in the sense that they stayed with their team throughout two different teams. They could have gone to New York or the Kings at one point to go get cups or go get better contracts, but they never did. They stayed with cups and they set records and everything. And injuries cut some of their prime years away, but you have to be grateful for every moments for Alex Ovechkin and maybe even in NHL history, you know, because I mean, 2001, the biggest moments, um, the Blackhawks finally breaking their long drought, the Bruins breaking their long drought, the Red Wings, their drought, a lot of things you can point to as well. But this will be historic, and it doesn't matter what fan, and I think we're all happy that it's now here. And that'll do it for this episode of the Adam Rothstein Hockey Podcast. If you want to support me, check out the links below. I have that linked to Chirp. Check out the Substack. Check out the Journal. Uh, check out everything down there. Please like iHeartRadio or wherever you're getting this podcast. And with that being